Now that we've done some very simple PowerShell activities, we're going to do something a little bit more advanced, maybe a few things. One is that we're going to find out what options we have when PowerShell fails. So typically when a PowerShell script has failed in some environment, it's just because someone is looking at it at the moment, or perhaps a job has scheduled it and has logged the error somewhere. With the PMG workflow engine, we have a very nice opportunity to be more proactive about detecting errors in PowerShell and notifying people that need to know in the event that something bad has occurred. So what we'll do is go ahead and create a new PowerShell action in our workflow, and we will set it up to do something that we can control to either work or not work. So I'll go ahead and make a new variable. I'll call it my number, and I'll set it to the type of number and initially give it the value of 5. So in this case, I'm going to use this PowerShell. I'm going to add it to my script, and I'm going to say new number equals, let's say, just 10 divided by my number. So in the case of my number being anything but 0, this is going to be fine. In our workflow, we have the concept of finish markers, and this is a method that we can use to flag when a workflow has successfully completed. And in the event that the workflow has finished for some reason without getting to the finish marker, then we know that this is incorrect and that something has gone wrong. And the way that we take advantage of our finish markers is through a property in our workflow called workflow events. In this screen, we can set certain behaviors to occur when certain conditions have occurred. In this case, we want to set an event to happen when we do not reach a finish marker. We'll go ahead and give this event a name, did not get to finish marker. And in the case that we did not get to the finish marker, we want to send an email. And I'll just go ahead and send it to myself for right now, and we'll talk about different options that we have later on. And I'll say some error has occurred with this workflow, and we'll go ahead and use the workflow ID. And in the body of the message, we'll say here are the details about the error. So I haven't done anything yet with my PowerShell that's going to fail. I need to actually set the property of error message variable. And I already have a string variable called error message. So I'll go ahead and just set that in the event that it occurs. And from my start step in my workflow events, I'll add this to the body of my message. So now I have the ability to send an email, tell the user what's occurred, and I can go one step further. I can go ahead and give them a link to click to take them straight into this workflow ID. And I have a special link called runtime URL that gets me back to this workflow, and I simply need to include the workflow ID as well. So in this case, I'm going to have changed my workflow variable, my number, to 0, and that we know will give us an error when we run this script and divide this number by 0. So let's hit play and see what happens. So we see that we did not get to the finish marker, and I'll go ahead and check my email to see if I got any information about this workflow. So this is great. I see that I have a brand new email, and it tells me that some error has occurred with workflow 2335, and that matches. And I have a link directly in my email that I can click that takes me straight into this workflow, and I can see what happened. I see that my PowerShell did not finish successfully, and I can open this up, take a look, and see why. I have the same error information that we attempted to divide by 0. And if I'm interested and I know a bit about this workflow, I can go ahead and make a change. I can see my number is 0, and I know that's invalid. So I'll go ahead and make an in-place update to this and say, let's just try by 10 instead. And I can simply go to my utility tab now and re-execute this workflow. And we'll see that we got to the finish marker immediately without any problem. So the workflow designer, this process view, allows me as the owner of this script to make quick and easy changes and retry work in the field.